we I have prepared here some question.
Mm-hmm.
It is connection also to experience enrichment assessment.
Mm.
So here are my questions first. What role do formative assessment play in your teaching? How do it contribute to the learning process?
Okay, so it's a good question.
Uh,
Sorry,
I get
naback ko.
what role do formative assessment play in your teaching?
What role?
How do they contribute to the learning process?
I guess the role of formative assessment, of course, is I get to be able to learn where my students are, with regards to their learning. And yes, basically, most of assessment, formative assessment, I can say, is also important assessment in knowing where your students are currently, during your discussion or basically your lesson.
Can you share an example of a formative assessment that had a positive impact on student learning?
Okay, example of any formative assessment is, I guess, any activities that require them to give you an insight, their insight, and of course, most of the time, because I teach literature subjects, so I get to ask them their insight on a specific literature, and I can also extract, some of their bright ideas, and of course inculcate also learn to get to learn also from them, because I believe teaching is a two-way process, and of course I get to learn from my students as much as they get to learn from me.
How do you differentiate assessment to accommodate diverse learning styles and abilities in your classroom?
W ka Miss Universe mo ba yung question mo yun sa to?
Strategy.
How do you differentiate assessment to
Differentiate.
accommodate diverse learning styles and abilities in your classroom?
Okay, differentiate.
Yes po.
What do you mean, like,
Like,
lahing
um,
assessment? Okay. How do I differentiate sa to?
how do you differentiate assessment to accommodate diverse learning styles
Okay.
and abilities in your classroom?
Okay, sige, that is one pretty hard question actually, no? So, admittingly, my students are not in one page, no, because of course it's not news to us that there are some students who are really performing, and there are also students who are not, no? And of course, they are enrolled in the same subject. So as a teacher, it's quite very challenging in how to address this kind of a situation. But of course, since it's challenging, it's not necessarily mean that it's impossible. So that is why I tend to vary my teaching styles, also my strategies, and the way I assess them. Because of course, you cannot teach a fish to climb a tree, right? No, so yes, that's it.
Are there specific strategies or approaches you use to adapt assessment in different learners?
Yes, quite a few. So there are a lot of things that I also do in my classroom, no, to address their specific needs. No? So when it comes to teaching strategy, I only not dwell on question and answer, but I also want them to speak, no, in the class. No? So there are some activities that I crafted that most of the time require them to perform, no, so that I can be able to test, especially the skills that I wanted them to hone. Like for example, speaking activities or writing activities, or whatever specific subject or specific topic that we are about to discuss on that specific period. Okay.
Okay. And how do you provide constructive feedback to students based on their assessment results?
Okay. So constructive feedback. Actually, I'm not fond of giving constructive feedback orally. Most of the feedback that I give to my students are already written. But most of the time, those constructive feedback that I give to my students are um, true to what the measurement that I get from their performance. But I always say to my students that even though these are the numbers, okay, on how they perform, it does not necessarily reflect, who they are as a student. So it's still, although rating is part of knowing where you at, no, or how well you are doing with the subject, but it's also important to say to your student and encourage them to do more and of course be better at their performance next time.
Okay, I have my last question for you, ma'am.
Go,
Do you
please.
have tips for delivering feedback in a way that is helpful and motivating for students?
Okay. So that's quite so and to me is very also challenging because most of the time I don't want to get my students hurt, every time I give feedback, but usually I do the sandwich method. The sandwich method. I give the positive first, and then the rooms for improvement, and then I give them affirmation. So that's the kind of feedback that I give them most of the time, so that I won't sound very righteous, no, very no, because I know that students are, I was once a student before, so I know how hard it is, to especially learn something you do not love. You are forced to learn na, so
Exactly.
somewhat na siya.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am, for your time.
Okay, sige, thank you po.